Hey everyone, Brandon Styles here. Today we're going to get into the weeds. Once again, these are the 8 common problems for businesses and how to solve them. Now obviously there's a lot more problems with businesses than just 8, but these are the 8 most common that I see and some strategies and tactics for how to get over that. Now, next question is, how do I know this stuff works? Well, I use the strategies and tactics in this presentation to quadruple my entertainment business revenue in 18 months. It's a 400% ROI. And some of the stuff worked really well, and some of it for me didn't. However, I've seen these tactics work for other businesses and people that I've worked with, so I'm just going to give them all to you. But I used everything you'll see here, or 4 times my revenue in about 18 months, which is really cool and helped out a lot. So let's get into it. The 8 major problems small businesses have. Number 1, no one's reaching out to us. So you've got a website and you've got a contact form, and it probably says something like, contact us here or reach out for more information, but no one ever takes advantage of it. So we're going to figure out how to remedy that. Number 2, people are price shopping us. So people might be calling and saying, hey, we like your stuff, but the guy across the street can do it for, I don't know, half the price, or they're $100 cheaper or something, so what can you do for us? Obviously, we don't want that because we want to increase our revenue and increase our profit. So I'm going to tell you, give you a few strategies on how to fix that. Number 3, no one's clicking on our ads. So we're advertising and we're trying to market this thing, but no one's, we're not getting the results we want. And we're going to go into how to fix that. Number 4, I'm not getting any traffic. So you've got a website. Maybe it's cool, maybe it's not so great, but you're not getting anyone to go to it. So how can we get more traffic? Number 5, nothing about us stands out. Nothing is unique. That's a common problem in businesses. Like if you're a dentist, or even if you're a wedding photographer or wedding business, or if you're a lawyer, it could be hard to stand out. So we're going to talk about how to stand out, which will also take care of number 2, where people are price shopping, and number 1, no one's reaching out. Number 6, I'm overwhelmed by marketing. There's a lot of stuff out there, and there's a lot of channels and a lot of ways to promote the business, and I just feel overwhelmed and I don't know where to start. And because of that, I just throw a bunch of money and stuff at the wall and hope it sticks. So we're going to talk about how to sort that out. Number 7, I'm not getting any referrals. So businesses live and die by referrals. One reason is it's because it's a lot cheaper to get a word of mouth referral than it is a cold call referral or a cold traffic conversion. So we're going to talk about how to boost your referral system. And finally, number 8, our revenue type of free of charge is running low. So we're going to talk about how to increase revenue during slow months or slow times, or times when things just aren't coming in. So there are the 8 major problems small businesses have. Now let's get into it. Problem number 1, no one's reaching out via our website contact form. All right. Now this is important because when people reach out to you or enter their email on your contact form, they're saying basically, help me, market to me, I need assistance, I need help, I am potentially interested in your product or service. This is also important because collecting these emails builds your list. It allows for awesome advertising demographics and retargeting, which we'll get into later. And it helps you reach out one-on-one to see how you can best help your prospect. So if you've got emails, essentially you've got permission to market to someone, and you're also building an asset, and you're building future campaigns where you can send these targeted emails for people that you know need your help, content to bring them closer towards a sale and to helping them. In fact, at any one time, the percentage of people who come to your site ready to buy is 3%. So the question becomes, how do you follow up and stay top of mind with the other 97%? All right, so you're missing the overwhelming majority of people if you don't have a system in place to follow up with them. So let's talk about how to do that. One way that you can help increase your contact reach outs and your email signups is to create what I call a hand raiser. And a hand raiser is a compelling, free, downloadable resource that solves a quick problem for the prospect and demonstrates your expertise and builds trust. Your prospects are going to be working towards becoming friends with you and becoming someone that likes you. And we all want to work with our friends, right? So this hand raiser is going to help you do that in the eyes of your prospect. All right, it's going to demonstrate expertise, build trust, and solve a quick problem. A lot of times you'll see these in the form of an ebook or a short course or video series or an infographic or a quiz, anything like that that's going to solve a quick problem, answer a quick question for your prospect. And to get it, they have to put in their email. So that's what a hand raiser is. Next up, a limited time offer. And yes, it has to really be a limited time offer. Don't repost it the next week. So if you say, hey, for the next 3 days, we're running a special, or we're going to be giving something away, you can't just leave it up all the time. I know plenty of websites that do that and say, hey, we're $500 off, limited time only, and then you check back a year later and it's there. So it really does have to be a limited time offer. But by putting that there, sometimes it gives people the push over the edge they need to reach out and take advantage of that deal. Thirdly, adding an additional opt-in form on your contact page will always increase conversions. So you can give another guide or another hand raiser, provide an interactive quiz, a mini course, what we've talked about. Just adding another method of reaching out to you and having someone put in their email address is going to enhance those reach outs and build your email list. Finally, your last resort is going to be adding an exit pop-up. So an exit pop-up is when someone moves their mouse over the back or moves their mouse over their browser screen to close out the window. You can use JavaScript to create a pop-up. And what that's going to do is say, hey, before you leave, here's one last offer, or make sure you sign up or something. Now, these are not ideal, but if you must, you must. The advantage is they can catch last-minute website bouncers. So kind of use this as at your own risk. Your mileage may vary, but you can always add an exit pop-up. So before people click off your site, it kind of gives one last desperate, hey, sign up, before they leave. Problem number 2. We're losing sales because we're not the lowest priced product or service. This is a very common problem that I see a lot, and what's the oftentimes solution for that? They say, well, we'll just discount it, or we'll give it to you for free. So my big thing is don't discount your products, because when you discount, which we'll get into later, people oftentimes think that's the price they should be paying to begin with. So we're trying to get away from discounting by adding value. Going low on price is like taking off clothes during the summer. There's only so much you can take off, right, before you're not profitable. So if it costs $100 to make your product and you are charging $150 and then you get $40 off, well, you're clearing $10 after that. I think that's right. I hate doing math on camera, but so you don't want to just discount, all right? Also, it could mean you just haven't found your target market yet, because take the car industry. Some people buy Accords. Some buy Lexus, some buy Mercedes, some buy Ferraris. There's a price and a service for everyone. So if you're getting a lot of kind of price searchers and tire kickers, you might just need to niche up to that little bit more expensive market and a little bit wealthier bracket and start targeting and marketing your materials to them. Third, lowest price shoppers and searchers are most likely not going to be your best client. They're not going to make you the happiest, and they're probably going to frustrate you. I know in my business, when I've had people that I really worked with them on the price and took some discounts off and stuff, I learned my lesson because they ended up being totally horrible to work with. Now, that's not every time, but a lot of times it's going to happen. So how can we fix this? Because a lot of people think, well, lowest price is going to win, but not always. Consider this. When people buy, they're going to buy your product or service based on how it makes them feel. Then they're going to justify that purchase with logic. So let's go back to that car example, okay? When people buy a Ferrari, they're probably going to have a lot of explaining to do, because people are going to be like, Tim, how did you afford that car? Why would you buy such an expensive car? Well, the reason he bought it is because how it made him feel. A Ferrari is going to make someone feel young and adventurous and bold, as well as increase their status, right? Because you can't buy a Ferrari unless you've got money. So they buy based on how it makes them feel and look. But then how do they justify it? They're not going to say that. They're going to be like, well, they've really increased the gas mileage on these things. And, well, they're going to say, this is something that appreciates and it's going to be worth more money. So they're going to use logic to justify the purchase, but they're going to buy based off emotion. So how much you can command for your product or service is going to be based on how much emotion you can tie into it. So let's go into some ways that you can boost that. So number one, don't discount. So most people think discounts are the price they should be paying anyways, which is what we kind of just talked about. So what we want to do is not take away from our product or service. So we don't want to take off dollars or percentage points. We want to add to it. All right. So when you're thinking, if you're having some problem with price, ask yourself, what other premium can you offer for your product or service? So if it's a product, you can add a resource like an ebook, maybe a 2-for-1, or maybe a complimentary product. And I don't mean that free. I mean, is there something that could go along with your service that you could give to people? So if you were a massage therapist, could you add some essential oils or some massage lotion in there and add that for free? And what that's going to do is boost the value in people's eyes, and they're going to be fine with paying more because they're getting more. All right. If it's a service, you can add more time, another perk, or another package. So I've done this with dentists sometimes, is if people are kind of giving them a little bit of rub with their high pricing, you can add in something. So, hey, we're going to give you 2 cleanings instead of 1, or we're going to give you a teeth whitening package on top of your regular cleaning. Something like that that's going to boost the value for them rather than discounting. Second of all, utilize your uniqueness. So if you can find that unique take or angle or tactic, that kind of takes price out of the equation. And the reason being is because if you're looked at as one of a kind, all of a sudden people aren't like, well, I can just go across the street and get the same work done. They're going to say, no, I can't get this anywhere. And so I've got to pay the price, and I want to pay the price because this business is unique, all right? And a lot of people say everything's been done. You know, I'm a wedding photographer, and there's only so many ways I can stick out, so I've got to charge lower. The answer to that is no. You just have to think a little bit, all right? So sit down with a piece of paper and write down, just spill out on a page all the things that make you unique, all the things that make you different. And my guess is you're going to come up with something in about 20 minutes that you can start using to appeal to people's emotions and charge a little bit more and justify those prices. So at Styles Johnson & Wayne, we are a conversion-based web design company and a direct response marketing company. So we're not just web design or marketing. We niched down a little bit, and I said, hey, we design your websites, but we do it to try and increase conversions and increase leads. And we don't just do regular marketing. We don't just throw social media posts up there. We do direct response. And what that does is it makes an offer to people all the time, and it kind of makes them choose whether they want to respond in that instant or not. So that's a little bit about what we did to stick out. All right, another way you can increase the value of your product or service in people's eyes is to tweak your copy on your website or in your ads. So add a little bit more emotion and make people feel the pain. So when you're thinking of good copy, think of those good fiction writers like Stephen King and even people like J.K. Rowling and J.R.R. Tolkien, who can paint a picture in your mind and make you see a scene and live an experience. And when you can make people do that, then all of a sudden you're building emotion, you're building value in that. Also make the bullet points more beneficial. And how can you write better bullet points? Well, do this. We do X. What this means for you is Y. All right, so if you're a web design service, you can say, we create lead magnets for you. What this means for you is higher quality leads, more reach outs from your website, stuff like that. By saying what this means for you is right here, that's how you start digging into the actual benefits, because people don't really care about features. Features you talk about, but what they really want to know is, how does this help me? And so by doing this, we do X. What this means for you is Y. You dig into the benefits, and that is going to connect and hook people more emotionally and bring them in. Lastly, You can niche down even more than you already are. So, can you target a single industry, person, or people group and market to them? And if you do, the more specialized something is, the more people are going to pay. So if I came out with a book on how to write website copy, you could charge, let's say $10, $15, okay? Let's say that was what the price was. But then if I create something that says how to improve your dental practice website copy, all of a sudden that's way more specific. And you can charge maybe 2 or 3 times the original general book would have been worth. And you're building value, and people are going to pay more because they say, that's exactly what I need. I'm going to learn how dentists, in this case, can communicate. So by niching down more, you can charge more because it's seen as a specialized service. Think of it when you go to a general practicing doctor versus like a heart surgeon. Obviously, the heart surgeon commands a little bit more, right? Because it's a specialty practice. Let's go into problem 3 now. Problem 3. I'm using ads and advertising, but no one's clicking on them. Okay, so I see this a lot. If you're spending money on ads, but you're not getting any results, that's not good, right? Because advertising should bring people in and convert them into prospects or customers or kind of warm them up to your business. However, developing a fear to advertise will also hurt your business growth. And that's very common too. People will try advertising and they won't get any leads. So all of a sudden they'll be like, advertising's stupid. It's not going to work for me. And they don't advertise at all. And that's actually really hindering your business. Now, this is also what most companies are doing. It's normal. Don't settle for normal, settle for average, okay? And there's a little bit of a difference there. So you don't want to do what most other businesses are doing because it's not really working for them. So how can we use ads and advertising a lot more effectively? Well, first of all, there's a few things you need to know. You need to know your minimum conversion rate, all right? Use this as a minimum baseline, okay? So what that is means this. If you advertise to 100 people and your ad gets seen by 100 people, you will want to be converting between 1% and 2%, which means 2 people will reach out and say, hey, I'm interested. Look for that. So you don't have to be 50% or 70%. That's crazy, and that's above average. You're not going to get that. But if you can look and try and nail down between 1, maybe closer to 2%, that's a baseline. And that's also not very intimidating, okay? People can be like, I can get 1 or 2 people out of 100. So we're going to be using 1 to 2% reach out rate or conversion rate from your ads as a minimum baseline. You can always go up from here, but if you figure for this, you not only have a minimum target to hit and a goal, but you can also figure out the worst case scenario with your prices and ad spend. You've got to measure this. So let's say if I was selling a service for $100 and it cost me $80 to get a 1 to 2% conversion rate. Well, then I know that for every $100 I spend, I'm going to be making $180. And so if you're putting in $1 and getting out $1.80, you could do that all day and make money. So that's what we're doing. We're using advertisements to profit. So if you know your conversion rate, you know how much you can spend on ads, and you can know how much to price your services so you can be more profitable. So how can we increase the effectiveness of our ads? Well, let's go into that. 1, switch up the ad. So if you're putting an ad out there and you're not getting the conversions you want, you're going to need to change the ad. Start with the image first, because in a Facebook ad, let's say, the image is going to be 80% of the thing people look at first. So if something's just not working, it's converting at less than 1%, meaning for every 100 people that see it, less than 1 person is clicking through, you need to change it. So we're going to change the image first. All right, use a couple different images. Use one of people smiling and looking happy. If changing the image doesn't work, we're going to change the headline next. So if your ad says something like, click here for more information, that headline kind of sucks. So you're going to want to change it to the top 10 things you need to know about this, or here's how to take better photographs, or something like that. Finally, if that's still not converting, you're going to want to change the bullet points and the body copy of your ads. So remember what we talked about with bullet points is that you want to touch on the benefits. So in the body copy for your ad, list out a few more benefits. Paint a vivid picture in your prospect's mind and almost make them feel the pain that your business is trying to solve, and they're going to be much more likely to click on your ads. Number 2, answer an objection. So a lot of times in ads, most people will think it's too good to be true. It isn't. So if it was something like, whiten your teeth in 3 months, most people will be like, that's probably not going to happen. So what you would want to do is go in there and say, hey, this really does work. I know it sounds too good to be true, but here are some testimonials, some before and after pictures of people with whiter teeth. What you're doing there is you're putting skeptics at ease. I'm a skeptic myself. When I see an ad, most of the time I'm like, this guy's full of baloney and this is not true. But if you can go in there and they say, hey, we understand that you're thinking this is too good to be true. It's not, and here's why. All of a sudden you're building trust in that person and you're overcoming an objection they had in their mind. Number 3, tweak your audience. So who are you showing your ads to? And if it's not converting as well as you want it to, how can you maybe niche down, or how can you change your demographics to show them to people that are more likely to convert and click on your links? Maybe you just picked the wrong audience, all right? Maybe you're a dentist and you were like, hey, I want to advertise to people making over $200,000 a year that live within 20 miles of me, and I want to talk to them about cavity prevention or something. But that's just not working. Well, maybe you picked the wrong audience. Maybe you could change up the income level. Maybe you could change whether you're marketing to females or males. Maybe you could even change the neighborhood area or the city radius that you're marketing to. Another way to find a better audience is to look at your analytics and see if you can see any interesting trends. So if you go into your Facebook ad account or your Google Analytics, and you notice that most people coming to your site are males between the ages of 20 and 30, and it's like 60%, you could be like, maybe I'm missing someone I could be marketing to. And you can change your ads to cater towards that specific demographic, all right, which is the third point. Cater your ad to one of your specific audience groups. So go into those analytics, find out who's responding well, find out who's clicked on your ad. All right, Facebook will tell you that. And make an ad just for that group of people. So let's say if they are people that like Tony Robbins and you're a dental thing, say, how does Tony Robbins get his teeth so clean? Here's a 5-step method to do it. Then all of a sudden people are like, oh, that's pretty cool. I want to know that. I like Tony Robbins. And they click on the ad and they click through and they might reach out. So that's what you can do to make your ads more effective. Switch it up by changing the image, answer some objections, and then tweak your audience. Let's move on to problem number 4. My site's not getting a lot of traffic. Now, this is not a good thing because getting traffic allows you to make educated and better guesses on your ad spend and content creation. So if you can see who's coming to it, you can say, all right, well, I want to cater to these people. These are my people. Also, no eyes on your site or your business equals no money in your pockets. And if you're in business, you probably want to be profitable and make some money, right? So let's figure out how to start bringing some traffic to your website. Step number 1, run a few ads to a specific landing page with a free resource on it that will solve a problem, which is what I call a hand raiser. Now, you don't have to spend a lot of money on this. You can start with $5 or $10 a day. Usually you'll do that on something like Facebook. But what you can do is you're going to run just some ads. Set up a Facebook ad account, put in $5 or $10, and create a special resource, which would be a free resource, called the hand raiser. And it could be a list of something or an infographic, like here's 10 ways to do XYZ as related to your industry. And you're going to send people directly to that landing page. And it's going to help them, all right? And it's going to solve a main pain point really quickly so they can get results. So you're helping them, you're demonstrating your expertise, and you're building trust in your prospect. Number 2, doing something that I call the infographic and intro method. So what you're going to do is you're going to use canva.com, which is a website where you can create these really great looking infographics and ebooks and ads and all kinds of other stuff really quickly. And I'm not much of a designer, so it really eliminates a lot of extra time spent creating cool graphics because appearance is really important, but you don't have time to sit there and learn how to be a graphic designer. So Canva is going to help with that. So you're going to go to canva.com and you're going to create an infographic. They have an infographic section. And really quickly, you're just going to write up a top 10 list or a top 5 list or something like that. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to find some medium-sized blogs or some influencers or some content curators in your field. And you're just going to send them an infographic and say, hey, I created this. I thought it could help your readers out. Thought it could help out people in our sphere. Would you mind publishing it? And if you want, I can write a custom introduction for the infographic in exchange for a link back to your site or just to be featured. I had a product once where I was teaching couples how to DJ their own weddings. And I used this exact method to get on 3 blogs and drive about 1,000 visitors to that product and start making sales really quickly. So there's a great way to get eyeballs on your site. Number 3, this is what I call the Pain Points Podcast Plot. All right, say that 10 times fast. So this is a little bit similar to the infographic and intro method. What you're going to do is you're going to come up with a top 10 pains list or a process list or just some facts, some frequently asked questions that people ask you a lot when they reach out to you. All you're going to do is you're going to create this top 10 list and then reach out to podcast creators in your industry with this new content and offer to come on and show and present your findings or your information. This is a great strategy because podcasts are always looking for people to interview and content to push and ways to help their listeners out. So if you can come up with a great list to help their listeners, and I use this method again with that how to DJ your own wedding and got on 3 podcasts and again got over, I think it was like 1,200 visitors for each podcast I was on. So that's 3,600 people visiting your site and you can convert all those people to buy your product. Next, we're going to optimize our SEO. So we're going to do a little spy tactic here, nothing shady, but we're going to use a site like SEMrush, I think it's SEMrush.com, or SpyFu, which is SpyFu.com, to quote spy on competitors and get some ideas. So you can use these sites. I'm not going to go into how to do that now because it would take a little bit of time, but you can YouTube that or something and figure out how to use the overall processes on those 2 websites. But you're going to find out what's working for them. Is there a certain page or blog post or piece of content that people are linking to a lot? And if so, like let's say you go on a dentist site and his top page is the best ways to keep your teeth sparkly white. Well, then you could create a video or you could create a little mini course where you're teaching your clients how to do that, all right? Because you already know it converts well because you saw it on their site. So just create a better piece of content for that. Next, you're going to use Google search recommendations to create content for often searched terms you might be missing. So this is how that works. You're going to open up Google and you're going to type in a question that you get asked a lot. So if I was a dentist, let's go with that best way to keep your teeth white. Best way to whiten teeth. Now when this pulls up, we're going to scroll to the bottom and look at this. All these right here are potential blog posts. And I use a plugin called SEO Quake to estimate how many times this gets searched a month. So look at this. Best products to whiten teeth, 590 searches a month. How to whiten your teeth in one day, 880. Best ways to whiten teeth naturally, 210. So if you can create really good content around that, you know people are already searching it. So right here are potentially about 9 or 10 different blog posts you could write out. Finally, we're going to use that infographic and intro method to collect some backlinks. So another good thing about using that infographic where you create it and offer other blogs or writers to post it on their site is so you can get some SEO love, because if they link back to your website, so if they put up your infographic and say, hey, Daniel at danielthedentist.com created this, then when they say danielthedentist.com, that's called a backlink. And what it does is it gives you some SEO juice, all right? And it's going to shoot you up the Google search results pages, and that's a very good thing. Problem number 5, nothing about my business stands out. So if people can take your website and drop in another logo or company name and can't tell the difference, that's not good. So without a clear separator in your mind, you cannot create more value in the minds of your customers. And not only that, but you won't have the confidence that comes with knowing what you offer. So knowing how your business stands out, or some different ways it stands out, that's a big confidence boost that you can use to better sell your services or your product to your prospects. So let's figure out how to find this standout point. Option 1, use what I call the HET method, which is help, expertise, and trust. So at Styles, Johnson & Wayne, that's kind of what we preach, is using the HET method. So the HET method builds your value in a customer's eyes and minds. It helps them, so they're attracted to your business. They're like, wow, this guy's not just in it to take my money, he's in it to actually help me. Next, it shows your expertise, which in turn builds trust, which brings in more clients because people want to work with who? People they see as a trusted advisor. So one way you could use the HET method is creating a video. Let's go back to the dentist example, the old trusty dentist. And you could say, hey, I'm Daniel the dentist, and today I'm going to show you how to whiten your teeth naturally. So you're helping people by showing them how to do something they want to do. You're demonstrating your expertise because you're a dentist and you're showing that you know your craft and you can help whiten people's teeth. Third of all, you're building trust. They're seeing you. They're seeing your personality. They're seeing a demonstration of your education and expertise, and you're helping them. So people are like, I trust this guy. This guy seems like a legit guy. Next is the use of testimonials. A lot of websites use testimonials already. But how can we use those to make your business stand out? What I want you to do is to pause this video and read back through your testimonials. Now, does anything stand out? So here's a good example. For my entertainment company, I was reading back through some of the testimonials that past clients and brides and grooms and companies had left us. And I saw one that really stuck out. I saw one, or a couple of people saying, hey, Brandon really was able to walk me step by step through this whole process. And we used a form that he created to pretty much plan out our whole wedding. So I was like, man, there's something. We actually can walk our clients step by step through the process. Make them feel comfortable, all right, give them a benefit. So I'm going to put that in some of our literature. And so I did, and that was actually turned out to be a big selling point, is that, hey, we're kind of your step-by-step entertainment walkthrough. So that helps separate us a little bit. Another way you can use testimonials is by showing off how good you're doing. So I've got a friend that owns a wedding band company, and they have like 55-star reviews. And they use that statistic in their marketing. So theirs is like, we've never missed a star. And I think that's great because if people see all these reviews and they're all 5 stars, they're like, wow, these people are killing it. What are they doing right? I want to work with someone that has been able to perfectly please 50 people. Next, I want to encourage you to change the way you have people leave testimonials on your site. I want you to encourage them to tell a story. You could even give them this little pitch here. So we felt blank and blank. They helped us blank. And now we feel awesome and got blank. So what you could encourage people to do there is to say, if I was looking for a wedding band, we felt overwhelmed and unsure of who to pick because everyone looked the same. They helped us plan out all our entertainment for our reception and made us feel confident in the right choice. And now we feel awesome and got a great band in return. That's a testimonial that tells a story, all right? It takes a prospect or whoever's reading that through their experience, and it just creates a much more effective testimonial. Another way to figure out how your business stands out is to do what I call the power of 10 post-it exercise. What you do is you set a timer for 10 minutes, you grab a pen and some post-it notes. With the clock ticking, you quickly scribble down anything that comes to mind about how you're unique. The cool thing about this exercise is that the speed in your race against the clock prevents self-editing, and it will help you a ton. Most people don't take the time to do this, and because of that, their business suffers. So when you're thinking about ways you stand out, you're using brain power, and brain power is a finite resource. We only get so much a day. And a lot of people are like, man, this is going to take me an hour or all day to figure out how I'm unique, and I don't know. But what you do is you set a timer, like we talked about. Not only are you going a little bit faster than you would, but also you have an end in mind. You're like, hey, I can make it through 10 minutes of this. And then you get 30 to 50 ideas or however many you get that you can work off of. And all of a sudden, you've got a much clearer and much more helpful path to figure out how you're unique. Another way to demonstrate how your business stands out is to use a case study. So use a remarkable result from a client to showcase your business. So do you have a marquee client or a really awesome result that you earned that will stick with people? One I used in the beginning of this presentation, which is I tripled the revenue for my entertainment business in 18 months. That's something that kind of intrigues people and brings them in. They're like, how did he do that? I want to learn more. Another thing you can do is turn the mirror on yourself. Do you have a compelling story that can stand out or would serve as a memorable testimonial? I recommend everyone to do this. Tell your story to your prospects. It doesn't have to be some long diatribe, but just say, hey, here's how I started. This is why I got into this business. I wanted to help people do this. And then explain that. And you're generating rapport with people. You're creating trust. You're building a relationship online with these people by telling your story and being candid and showing them that you have a personality and you're a human. So there's some great ways to start figuring out how your business is unique and how it can stand out. Let's move on. Problem 6, I'm overwhelmed by marketing. I see this a lot with businesses is that people can get so overwhelmed by all the available marketing and social media channels that they never really get started. Now, most marketing methods are simply just ineffective because most business owners try and go wide and shallow. I want you to avoid this. I want you to go deep and narrow. And I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So number one way to prevent overwhelm in marketing is to use the inverted marketing pyramid. Now what this does is it prevents overwhelm. It allows you to focus on one avenue and your most effective avenue of your marketing. It also prevents the dreaded spray and pray method most businesses use to market, where they say, hey, I don't know what to do, so I'm just going to throw a bunch of money at it and hope something sticks. And we don't want to do that because it's a really ineffective use of your dollars. So what is the inverted marketing pyramid? Let's take a look. Here is the inverted marketing pyramid. Let me take you through how this works. So we've got our top level up there, and that is all the marketing channels that you could use. Things like social media, online advertising, offline advertising, email marketing, pay-per-click, which is like Google AdWords, speaking and education, PR, public relations, and blogging. What you're going to do is you're going to take all these, or whatever marketing channels are available to you, and say, hey, out of all these, which 4 just kind of feel like they would probably give me the best results? So I'm going to show you how to do that. Let's say if I was a photographer looking to get more clients. So I would say, okay, what's probably my best way to get more clients? So I'm going to eliminate PR. I'm going to eliminate blogging. Remember, you're trying to get to 4. I'm going to keep social media because I see a lot of people posting their pictures on Instagram and stuff. I'm going to keep online advertising because I see some ads on Facebook. I'm maybe going to take out offline advertising. Maybe going to take out pay-per-click because that could be expensive. Okay, you've got your 4 right now. So I'm going to focus on social media, online advertising, email marketing, and then speaking and education to try and get more photography clients. So you're going to move these 4 down to section 2 of your pyramid. And out of all these, you're going to spend $50 testing each one. So for $200, you're going to get a really good view of what's working and what's not for your marketing. So if I was doing this, I might spend $50 on social media ads. I'd spend $50 on online advertising, so maybe it could be Google or Bing ads or something like that. I'm going to spend some money and maybe create a resource for my email list. And then 4, I'm going to see if I can draw up some speaking engagements or find ways to teach clients. And when you spend your $50, which is not a lot, you're going to find out which one gave you the best return. And whichever one did, let's say if I got 5 clients from social media ads, 10 from online ads such as Google and Bing, 0 from email, and 0 from speaking, I'm going to say, wow, online advertising killed it. And whichever one gets the most results, focus on that one first. So in this case, I would want to spend all my marketing budget right now on online ads because those work the best. So that's a great way to prevent marketing overwhelm, is the inverted marketing pyramid. Let's move on. Next, you can use what I call the Big One method. This is a great social media strategy. It's similar to the inverted marketing pyramid, but with this one, you pick the social media channel where your ideal client will be and focus on that one only. Again, go deep and narrow versus wide and shallow. So when I'm thinking about my wedding clients for my wedding entertainment business, I say, where do most brides go to get information about planning their wedding? Well, most of them go to Pinterest. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to skip Facebook and I'm going to skip YouTube and all that, and I'm going to focus on Pinterest. Run some Pinterest ads, create some content for Pinterest. And that way, you can go deep and narrow on that social media channel and not have to spread out everywhere and go super thin and not be effective at all. So that's your Big One social media channel. But what if you don't know how to use that channel? We're going to use something I learned from Tim Ferriss called the 3-book method, and you're going to become a rock star in whatever channel you choose. This is how it works. So first you're going to go to Amazon.com, and when you get here, you're going to click over to the Kindle store, and you're going to type in the channel you chose, Pinterest. Like what came up, Pinterest marketing. I'm going to click on that. Let's see what comes up. All right, what you're going to do is you're going to sort by average customer review, and then you're going to see the top ranked books for Pinterest marketing. So here's what pulls up. Now I want you to scroll down, check out the number of reviews, and see what might fit for you. So stop pitching and start connecting. Maybe not that, maybe not these. Pinterest power, market your business, sell your product on Pinterest. So I would add that to my cart. Boom, 4.5 stars, 87 reviews, perfect. So let's keep scrolling down. The Art of Pinterest Profit, 10 reviews. Boom, I'm gonna pick that one. Pinterest marketing made stupidly easy. Boom, I'm gonna pick that one too. So I just went through the 3-book method. And what that says is if you read the top 3 rated books in any category, you're going to know 90% more than anyone else in that field. And so that's how you're going to take your Big One channel for social media and learn how to be a badass at advertising on it. Finally, we're going to do what I call front loading your marketing work. Lots of people say, man, this is a lot of content to create. How am I going to do this? Good marketing can be a repetitive, tedious task and frankly, a little bit tiring at times, which probably means you're doing it right, but it can still be a little exhausting. So we're going to front load the work. We're going to go back to our old trusted friend at Canva, and we're going to create a month's worth of graphics and inspirational quotes or pictures or whatever fits for your industry. And Canva's so quick, that's only going to take us about 20 minutes. So let's say we wanted to post a new picture a day, 30 pictures. We could probably do that in 20 to 30 minutes. All right, do one. Don't overthink this. Just find a quote, pull it down, give credit to the author, and you've got content there. Next, we're going to take an hour, and we're going to film 10 short 3-minute videos. And these you can post every 3 days. So in an hour and a half, we've created enough content for a whole month. And that's in 90 minutes again. So we're going to front load all of that work and we don't have to think about it for the rest of the month. Problem 7, my revenue is running low. Some businesses have up and down seasons. So for the live music industry, that's December and January. That's the time where I'm looking at the calendar being like, man, this is going to be tough. What am I going to do? How am I going to find the money? Also, sometimes as a business, you just have low and slow months for whatever reason. This makes people worried and anxious, which leads to a lot of grinding, which leads to going nowhere, right? Because when you're stressed out, it's hard to have clarity and it's hard to solve problems because you feel like you're so deep in them. So let's figure out how to get over that running low on revenue problem. Method 1, we're going to do a list building week. Your email list is an asset. Think of it like this. It's essentially property that you could sell at some point. You probably don't want to do that because people aren't very keen on having their email list sold, but the point is it's worth money. So the more people we have on our list, the more potential revenue and profit we can create. So to build our list, what we're going to do is we're going to put together a free resource, which we talked about called a hand raiser. We're going to run some ad spend to it, make sure there's good copy and a clear call to action. and we're going to build the lists. And that's going to give us the opportunity to market and pitch our list to hopefully sell some products and get that revenue spiked up. Now, how are we going to email these new prospects? Well, we're going to use something I call the Hut Hut Hike email campaign. And it works like this. You're going to send 2 pieces of really good, interesting content. This should teach your list something. It should solve a pain. And it doesn't have to go too deep. You don't have to spend a long time creating this content, but just take a look at something that you've noticed has been troubling your audience or your prospects and solve it for them. After the first 2 pieces of the content, you're going to make them an offer. And this could be a paid class or a workshop, some one-on-one training, a consultation, a book, a video on how to solve the problem and kind of go deeper and figure out what's there, whatever. But you're going to make them an offer, and you're going to make it a limited time offer. So we're going to add some good old scarcity to it because sometimes people need that little push to pull out their wallets. Finally, you could run what I call the quick cash campaign. So we're going to take a look at all our products and services and say, hey, is there an existing one we have that's not being promoted or utilized very well right now? What you can do is you can put a special price or add some value to it, and over a weekend, we're going to pitch that to our email list. So you can and should use the Hut Hut Hike email campaign here too. It's going to be a limited time offer over the weekend, and we're going to tack on a really valuable piece of information or really valuable piece of access to it. So let's say I was a restaurant and I wanted to bring in some more revenue. Something you could do is create a special romantic night out, date night for parents that have kids. And you can say, hey, for $60 or whatever it is, for $60, you prepay it and we're going to go all out on holding a romantic night for you and your spouse. There's going to be roses on the table. We're going to hire a live violinist to play. We're going to dim the lights. We're going to give you 2 entrees and a bottle of wine. And we're even going to provide babysitting in another room for your kids. All for a prepaid price of $60 or whatever makes sense to you. And we're going to send that out over a weekend. And we're going to say, hey, it's only good for this weekend. So if you're available, sign up now. So you're making it limited time. You're giving them extra value because you're providing the babysitter, and it's a prepaid meal, and they're getting a steak and wine and all that stuff. And it's a great way to jumpstart a quick cash campaign and bring in some revenue if it's running low. It's called a special event. Problem 8. I'm not getting social media engagement. This is important because engagement shows your content to more people for free. So the more people like or comment on your statuses or pictures or videos, the higher up the social media channels show it. So it's free promotion because they say, hey, people are getting a lot out of this, so let's show it to more. Another thing is with more engagement, you can see the problems that people are having and cater your business strategy to solving those. So if you create a video about how to stage your home to sell it and you get 80 upvotes, you can say, hey, there's obviously a need for this. I'm going to create a little product to it. Lastly, engagement shows you an immediate return of interest on your time for social media marketing. So if you're spending a lot of time creating social media content and no one's liking it, it's not a very good return on your time. So you can use that as feedback to see where you can improve. Let's figure out how to get some more engagement. One great way to do it is a fill-in-the-blank status. So you can say, today I am a blank lawyer, or I am a blank doctor. And people will write in and be like, I am a tired lawyer or an overwhelmed lawyer. Or you can say something like, today I will XYZ. Today I will make a sale. Or today I will take time off and enjoy my kids, or something like that. This motivates people and gets them to respond and maybe even vent, which is cool because you're playing at their emotions a little bit. It also gives you instant feedback on the mood of your group and your list. And it's also great for Facebook groups and pages and Twitter because it's a short, really quick way they can respond. Another way to generate some social media engagement is a tag someone who post. I have a photographer friend who used this to great success. So he said tag someone who could use a new headshot. And he had all these people being like, Tim, you sure could use a new headshot. Ha ha ha. And that's cool because it's funny and gets people laughing and gets them saying, oh, I really do need a new headshot. That could be nice. But because someone's tagged that person in the status, your business is now at top of mind. And so you can say, hey, Tim, if you need a new headshot, let's talk. It's a great way to generate some engagement. Next way to get some more engagement is to ask a result-based question. What can you do today to get a new lead or book a client? Or just ask a question that gets your audience involved. Because psychologically, when people see a question, their brain has to answer it, right? Even if they don't type it, they answer it. It begs to be answered. This can also generate great ideas for you or your followers. So what can you do today to get a new lead? And then 3 different people type 3 different ways to do it. You can be like, wow, that's really cool. You could turn that into a resource and offer it to people as a lead magnet later. Finally, a great thing to do is a gift card giveaway. I used this method to triple one of my Facebook group sizes in 12 hours, and it cost about 4 cents a lead. So I said, hey, for a $20 Amazon gift card, invite other business owners that you're friends with, bring them in the group, and let's start pouring into them. So you could offer a $20 or $50 gift card in exchange for leads, names, things like that. A little word of advice is use this strategy wisely. You don't want people just haphazardly adding or recommending other people to the group just to get money, because that could cause a lot of spam in your group and you could lose some of the efficacy of it. But if you're not too concerned about that, then a gift card giveaway could be just the thing you need. So with that, that brings us to the end. There you have it, the Booyah method for solving common business problems.